All right, Wayne Bettis here, the founder of the Off the Tools podcast. I just want to introduce you to our brand new sponsor, directplumbing.supplies.com. It is founded by a former tradesman who has set up his own plumbing and heating merchants. He has an online shop, which is obviously at directplumbing.supplies.com, and he delivers across the UK. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
You are now listening to Off the Tools with the one and only Wayne Bettis.
If you're passionate and driven and focused in what you do, people will take notice. You can achieve anything you want to achieve in life.
The excuses are not valid.
Welcome to yet another episode of the Off the Tools podcast. We have a fantastic guest today. He not only is he a plumbing and heating expert accountant, he's also the author of a brand new book that is going to be hitting the stores very, very soon. Welcome to the show, Aaron Mcleish.
Hello, hiya.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, mate. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to get your viewpoint because obviously we as tradesmen and tradeswomen have one perspective. Accountants, they're a different breed of human being, and you have a totally different perspective on business and stuff. So it's going to be a real interesting discussion, I think. Could you just sort of like tell us a little bit about who you are, where you've come from, what sort of led you down this path to bring you to where you are now a specialist plumbing and heating accountant?
Yeah, certainly. So first of all, I started off doing my apprenticeship in accountancy, finished all my exams, worked for prestigious chartered accountancy businesses up and down the country. I then stopped working within practice. So practice is when you look after like hundreds of different clients. I then moved into industry, and I moved into a finance director role for a multi-million-pound plumbing and heating firm based in the southeast of England.
Okay.
So by me being a finance director for this multi-million-pound company, I've learned the ins and outs of the plumbing and heating industry from an accounting perspective, from a tax perspective, from a pricing perspective, from what goes into running a business of this scale, what you need to do to make sure all the cogs are lined up to run a vast machine like it is.
Right.
So while working for this plumbing and heating business, in the evenings and weekends, I was slowly building up my own portfolio of clients while I was doing my mates' VAT returns, tax returns, like doing their payroll, their CIS claims, and I've slowly built it up. So over the years, I've sort of moved myself away from being a finance director for this plumbing and heating business and established my own business where I look after plumbing and heating engineers, businesses, trades, you name it.
So you chose the hard path there then, because from my experience and the people I speak to, our industry, trades, are like the worst people at collecting information and doing the books the correct way. So do you just embrace that chaos and try to organize people when they start to work with you?
The way I see it, right, it's horses for courses. We've all got our specialist skills. So being a tradesperson, you're going to enjoy going out on the tools and doing the job, liaising with a customer, selling a boiler installation. And then the paperwork side of things do get left behind. But that's where I step in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do sort of embrace the diversity and the pains, if you like, and the struggles which plumbing and heating businesses bring to me. But the thing is, that's what I'm here for. And I'm literally here to make sure that you as business owners can crack on, work on the tools, do what you need to do in the business and forget about the accountancy side, or at least brain dump it on me, knowing that it's taken care of. So horses for courses, mate.
Yeah. One thing that I sort of like from my history was when I used to like get overwhelmed with all the accounting and the books, and it used to just like the piles would just get bigger, and I would sort of like just like zone myself off and forget, like, and just be like, I don't want to touch this sort of stuff. So do you work obviously with the innovation of like all the accountancy softwares and stuff? I'm guessing nowadays for you can work more real time with these people. Is that the case? And if so, what sort of software is it that you recommend and leverage in your business for other people to use?
Yeah. So first of all, depending on your budget, what I recommend to a lot of my clients is give me an account at email address. Yeah. So it'll be an account at gavinthegasman.co.uk. Right. Yeah. And you literally ask all of your suppliers to email all of the purchase invoices to this email address, and my team will pick it up. And at the end of the month, we'll send you a report and say you owe Wolseley X amount, you owe Plumbase X amount, you owe City Plumbing X amount. Right. So and which are then all tied and reference back to your purchase orders. Then obviously the purchase orders are produced on your, I know you're a big advocate of Service Mate. I've used Simpro heavily. Yeah. So yeah, we tie it all together. We literally tie it all together and take away the entire accounting function again, so you guys can just concentrate on what you do. But I do embrace technology. So for me, I'm a big advocate of Xero.
Yeah, me too.
With Xero, the way I explain Xero, see Xero as your iPhone. So your iPhone, you've got apps on it to enhance the capability of your iPhone. See Xero as your iPhone, and you add apps to it. So your apps might be ServiceMate, Simpro, Tradeify, like all the different apps. You've also got HubDoc, which is an invoice capturing system, just like Receipt Bank, and all these cogs all these apps go onto Xero, so you can produce your VAT returns, you can do your COS returns, you can produce a profit and loss account every month, so you can keep your finger on the pulse. You know whether you've been profitable this month or whether Karen owes you 200 quid. Do you know what I mean? Like so yeah, I use technology, mate.
People neglect that, really, really do, because if you are regimented and you check your figures regularly, like I run a profit and loss every month without fail. I have a look, you know, and it just gives me a snapshot of how that month's been. Obviously, I have a gut feeling, you know, before I print it, how I feel the month's been. But sometimes it can be like a wet fish in the face, because you think you've done well, but the profit and loss is like, no, no, you're not. In the past, I never did that. When I ran a business and it was fairly big. We had like over 10 staff, showrooms and office staff, and I never had that. And it's like, what the hell was I doing? Like, how did like the accountant I was using at the time, how did they not like tell me this sort of stuff? And it seems to be very common that a lot, obviously it's a bad generalization to generalize, but in my experience, that frames it a little bit better. People that I've spoke to, their accountants like do the bare minimum. And it's like, we'll do it at the end of the year and give you the figures. And in reality, yeah, that legally you have to do that, obviously. But from a real-time perspective, it's useless, isn't it? There's no, you telling me that I made a 20 grand loss last year. Well, it's done now, isn't it? I can't do anything about it. So how do you find, do you get this perception that's what people assume that you're going to be like, and you have to sort of work to unearth that that's not what you do?
Well, it depends on the person.
Yeah,
it's literally down to the person. So, for example, if you're not VAT registered, you're a one-man band in his van, who's quite happy keeping at that level of turnover under £85,000, then having your yearly tax return and accounts yearly is perfect, because you are the business. You see the business every day. Yeah. You raise the invoices, you pay your suppliers, you pay for your fuel. So you know what's happening and you know what you take out each month. So that's perfect. But as your business grows, you then become VAT registered. So you have to submit quarterly VAT returns. So what I do off the back end of the quarterly VAT returns is always give someone management accounts. Don't get me wrong. The multi-million-pound businesses which I look after have weekly cash flows. Constantly monitoring everything. When's this supplier going to pay? Like, when's this customer going to pay me? What happens if I don't pay this supplier a week? Well, what happens to my cash flow? Can I then pay my VAT bill? Like, so you constantly have to monitor and juggle things. But the figures tell a story. And the story needs to back up to reality. If at any point in time the figures don't back up to what is reality, then there's something amiss there. Either you as a business owner have lost control, or the figures are wrong. So that's what I'm saying. The figures tell a story, and the story can't lie. The story needs to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And all I'm doing is literally presenting a financial story of your affairs, whether it's weekly, monthly, or quarterly. And that story is literally it's turnover, less expenditure, is your profit. But off the back end of that, we also look at your cash flow and look at who owes you money and who you owe money to. That's the overall picture, if you like.
So when you say forecasting, cash flow forecasting, obviously to a lot of people, and I'm going to hold my hands up here, right? I don't cash flow forecast. I never have. Something that I understand what it is, but to those that don't, could you just sort of explain what exactly does it mean? What are you trying to achieve by doing it?
We get out a crystal ball and we predict the future.
Okay.
The thing is with business, there's certain things you can definitely predict, and there's other things you can't. So for example, so when we're doing a cash flow, we're literally predicting a week ahead, a month ahead, or 3 months ahead. The longer ahead you go, the more diluted the information is, because it's going to be less, I want to say less honest. It's going to be less truthful, because anything could happen.
A bit like the COVID figures they released. They tried to project it and got it totally wrong, didn't they?
Exactly. So what I do with a lot of businesses is sit down, work out all their bills, and you know what your trade terms are with your suppliers. So, for example, Wolseley, it might be 30 days at end of month or 60 days end of month. So you know, if you gather all of your invoices for that month, what you need to pay in 30, 60, 90 days time. So that's truth. That can't change. You know what your wage bill is going to be. You know that you got your direct debits and standard orders. They don't change unless you ask, unless you want something to change. So in business, you can predict your costs very easily.
Is this sort of thing valuable to like a smaller business though? I'm a cash business in regards to, I pay my materials as I buy them via Amex, get a referral code and I get some extra points. And then I get paid at the end of the job. That's how I've structured from past experience when I had accounts and used to send an invoice with 30-day terms to my customers and that. I just probably because of lack of forecasting, I couldn't control it. So when I've rebuilt my business into what it is now, that's what I decided to do. So would that be valuable to me to be cash flowing and forecasting still?
If you're VAT registered, then yes. Yeah. Because you need to be saving X amount into your VAT account, X amount for corporation tax. So your money is not your money. Yeah. Like your money is not your money. So in order to establish what percentage, if you like, of your money is your money, you need to predict what you have to pay out in the next month, in the next quarter. And then whatever's left over is your profit, is to the business owner. And the only way you can work out what you're going to take home personally is to work out what you've got to pay out. Yeah. So in regards to cash flows, you need to do it. If not, say if it's your birthday, you got 10 grand in the business account, I'm going to take out 5 grand. 2 months' time, your VAT bill comes, or your corporation tax bill comes, you've got no money left in the bank account. So that money which you've taken out too much, you've bled the company dry. So what then happens is that you have to take back your nice Burberry jacket, you know what I mean, or your nice Barber jacket. It needs to go back because you need to then put the money back into the business. But if you would have planned in advance, and maybe the cash flow would have said, you know what, don't take out 5 grand, take out 3 grand, and you'll pay all your bills. At that point in time, you're happy. Do you know what I mean? It's all been predicted.
So is this something that you do for your clients regularly then? And so people that
if they engage me to do that, a lot of business owners, don't get me wrong, just live each day. Each day. But the businesses which engage me on a higher level and want the weekly cash flows, obviously you have to pay for that. Like you pay for what you get. But for a small sole trader, you don't need the cash flow, mate. You just got to implement the profit first.
We spoke about this recently, didn't we, on the Wayne's World series? And tell people, to those that don't know, give us a bit of an explanation on what this profit first theory, philosophy, whatever people call it, what is it and why is it so important?
Yeah. So the way I've taken on profit first is literally have loads of it's the way you structure your business. So structure your business into percentages and into bands and into different bank accounts. You'd literally have a bank account for your VAT account, corporation tax, operating expenditure, wages accounts, and as you get money in the business, you divvy up that money to the relevant bank accounts to account for your expenditure, or to account for the costs, which, like I said before, could be corporation tax, VAT, wages, whatever. And the idea and the philosophy behind it is that I'm struggling there.
It basically, you explained it well. It's about divvying up your money because it's not your money, isn't it? And the biggest takeaway I got from it was that not all the money isn't mine. And the minute that mentality stuck in, it made it very easy that when a $5,000 invoice got paid, I would look and go, right, okay, well, I know I spent $3,000 on materials. So bang, straight into the materials. I call it my materials account, OPEX, whatever. I'd know, right, well, 400 to 600 quid of that will be the VAT difference between what I charge VAT and what I get to reclaim on the materials. Bang, straight in the VAT bin. So now your $5,000 pot is now looking, well, there's only like $1,000 there. So then you've got to think about your overheads and stuff like that. And I use Starling Bank. I don't know if you're accustomed to it, but in Starling you have your main account, but then you can have pots. They're not called pots. I think they're called, I don't know what they're actually, units or something, I think. But basically they're like, it takes the money out of your account, your balance, and puts it into its own pot. And I have lots of different pots. I have directors drawings, so every now and then I throw some more money in there, so I've got a pot building up for me to draw out. I have the VAT, the corporation tax, materials account, as I call it. I also have an overhead account, so I always put a percentage or a bit. To be fair, I'm not going to lie, I don't work on percentages, I work on numbers. So if a $5,000 invoice and there's roughly 1,500 quid profit on it, I will just whack a couple of £100 into the overhead account, just so I know I'm drawing some of it out to cover the day-to-day running expenses of it. But for those that haven't read it or listened to it, it's a must, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a game changer. It just opens up your eyes.
Yeah,
a different way of doing business and controlling your business. It's all about control. Literally, you need to have control of your figures. You need to have control of your money. If not, your business is going to run wild. And you need to have discipline as well. So if you're just going out spending willy-nilly on a new printer, on a new analyzer, do you know what I mean, or on a new drill, no, you need to have
a psychological effect as well. I find if you like in my account right now, I've got like over 50,000 odd pounds, right? But 40 of that is materials that needs to be paid off my Amex. So if that was all in one pot, you could become a little bit frivolous, couldn't you? And be like, do you know what? Yeah, we need that new power tool kit. Yeah, we need that new blah, blah, blah. When in reality you don't. And you wouldn't do that if the pot wasn't so big, would you? And so moving that money so it's out of sight effectively for me was a fundamental change in my business practices. It really was. And I think, well, this leads me on to my next question actually quite well. So making tax digital, right?
Yeah.
Don't answer yet. I want you to answer a bit on what that is to those people that don't know. But fundamentally, the government, in the way it collects its money right now, doesn't help the situation, because they basically say to me, yeah, keep hold of it for a little while and yeah, we'll come and get it off you further down the line. Making tax digital is going to swing all of this, isn't it? We're going to be self-employed directors and stuff. We're going to be paying monthly, I reckon, in the next couple of years. So I'd like to hear, what is making tax digital and why is it going to affect our industry most particularly? And two, a bit of a projection you like to forecast. So I want you to project, where do you feel this Making Tax Digital is going to, because I'm pretty certain that we're going to be at a position where PAYE they pay their tax, they contribute every single month, don't they? I feel that this is a way, Making Tax Digital is a way to get us guys and girls paying monthly, so we're topping up the coffers for the government every month rather than at the end of the year or every quarter or whatever it might be. Yeah, so fire away. What is Making Tax Digital?
Yeah, so literally Making Tax Digital is Making Tax Digital. So it's already been introduced in regards to VAT. In the sense of your VAT returns are submitted digitally to HMRC, and they have all of your box 1 to box 8 figures sent across to them. It's real-time information. But I think what you're referring to, Wayne, is they're slowly going to introduce the Making Tax Digital for the self-employed and the sole traders. So as well as the people that are on VAT, the self-assessment people will have to submit quarterly accounts to HMRC, so we can calculate your income, less your expenditure as your profit. You obviously get tax on your profit, and a bang, as soon as you calculate it, the tax is paid to HMRC. So
do you think that'll be every quarter, do you think, for the self-employed? Is that where that's going, is it? Yeah,
I think it's starting April 2022. Yeah.
So it's already ready, like it's already there to be done, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Unless they put it back, then yeah. But don't worry about it. Literally, like brain dump it. Leave it to your accountant. We've got the softwares. We've got the know-how to do it. The only thing that you'll probably find is that we'll be billing you once a quarter instead of once a year.
Yeah.
So
effectively, they're just 3 months end of years instead of a year end of year. Is that in essence what it will lead to?
Yeah. But a lot of people might be aware that you have a payment on account. So what a payment on account on your self-assessment tax return is at the minute is you pay 50% of your current tax bill up front for the next tax year's tax bill.
Yeah.
So they've HMRC have been wanting to speed up their tax collections for years.
Yeah.
And to me, this is just the next level, the next stage of making sure they get paid quicker. Like Wayne, you mentioned, PAYE is monthly, COS is monthly, VAT is quarterly. At the minute, self-assessment is yearly, but like I said, that they're bringing it forward to fill up the HMRC pot. You pay your council tax monthly. So
at the end of the day, the HMRC are a business. In essence, they have to run like a business. They have things to pay. So it's sort of, I always was wondered why were like directors and self-employed people given this much like freedom as such compared to the PAYE people. And I suppose it was just the way it was, wasn't it? And now it's, I suppose it's a lot more popular to be self-employed or be a director of a company. I suppose that if the numbers are rising on that side, they're thinking, well, we need to speed this up and get the balancing act right, don't they?
Yeah, it's people that squanders, people that go away. Like if you have to wait a year to pay your tax bill, if you don't have the cash flow, if you don't have the banks in place to save for your taxes, a lot of people ring up HMRC and say, I can't afford it. Okay, we'll go on a payment plan. So then they long it out by another year. By submitting your information quarterly, it just speeds it up, and people getting more of the habit is paying your tax as you go. It's literally pay as you go. Yeah.
To be honest, I would rather, I'm an advocate of that, to be honest, because it just takes one less responsibility from myself, one less discipline of knowing that I've got to let that pot of tax just build up and build up. Whereas I'd rather it just go. I know I owe it. Just freaking take it. Take what you owe and leave me alone, okay? I don't want to have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different. I like to hold on to everything. Yeah. So right to the last minute, I pay my tax at the last minute because anything could happen. Like COVID happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
COVID
that's
happened.
True.
Yeah. So for me, it's a case of I know I owe it. I know the date that it's due. If I can wait 3 weeks or a month or whatever to before I pay it, build up pittance interest in your account or whatever, but then pay it over, because anything could happen. I should be saying this on the webinar, but HMRC would always negotiate a payment plan. So if you owe them money, like, and you've got a genuine reason why you can't pay, that I think they'll be quite understanding. So
a lot of people disappear and like they don't face the problem though. I've spoke to lots of guys over the last couple of years where they've racked up tax bills from like 2 years before that's never been paid, and they basically just try and hide from it. But the HMRC are approachable, aren't they? At the end of the day, do you know, they will listen and they will. I think once I was on a payment plan back in the second year of running a business, it's probably about 10 years ago now. I basically had forgotten about VAT. So I just sort of spent the money, and it was like $5 or $6 grand. So it weren't a huge amount of money, but obviously I didn't have it to pay it. And I think they let me pay it off over a 12-month period, I think it was. And it took me months to pluck up the courage to ring them, because I thought they were going to come and chop my hands off or something. I didn't know what to expect.
People have a vision of a taxman, like a big, scary person. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the phone, who's like always says no. HMRC are run by people. So and ultimately HMRC want their money, and even if that means they have to wait a year to get their money, they're quite happy to do that, as opposed to that business folding, that business going under, and them not getting a penny. So if they can help you out, I often find that they are quite useful. It is down to who you get on the phone, and also how you communicate to that person. Like be nice. Literally be nice. If you start off with just treat people how you want to be treated. Like, at the end of the day, HMRC are people as well. So yeah, just be nice. Just be nice people.
Right, I'm going to move this conversation on a little bit now. This is quite an exciting part of the conversation, I think. I introduced you as an author. So are you allowed to talk about the book? I've had the pleasure of reading it, just so you know. And are we all right to talk about this?
Yeah, of course we are. Yeah.
No problem. All right. So I'm going to ask you a few questions on the book, and feel free to divulge wherever you want to go with this flow of the conversation. But A, what is the book about? And B, what led you to write it?
Yeah, right. So first of all, what is the book? So the book is literally it's aimed at plumbing and heating businesses of how to produce the perfect quote for a combination boiler in and out. Yeah. So basically, it's for domestic plumbing and heating businesses of how to produce the perfect quote for their customers. That's it in a nutshell. I know it sounds a bit boring. It's a bit specific, but that's the outline of the book. Within the book, I dive into a lot more areas, and obviously when you've read it, so I dive into like pricing psychology, the need to get paid up front, the need to offer customers choices, offering guarantees, a referral system, like there's a lot. So, but the premise is like the overall nutshell, if you like, is how to produce the perfect quote for boiler in, boiler out. Yeah.
And like I said, I've read the book. Hopefully by the time you're listening to this, you'll be able to go and buy the book. It really is a great book. It's very niche, as Aaron just explained. You know, it is about creating the perfect quote for selling a boiler, but it does what it says on the tin. It goes into lots of detail about the different types of people that we engage with on a day-to-day basis, and how to make sure that we're not alienating any of them along the sales process. Would you say that's a fair explanation there?
So in business or in the world, I find that there's three different types of people, three different types of shoppers. So first of all, you've got the value shopper. Now, the value shopper, all they want is a cheap price. Like, I want a boiler, I want it replaced. Do it now, do it quick, no frills. I mean, like EasyJet, that type of person. Yeah. You then got the next. You then got the higher end person, the premium luxury shopper, who wants the finer things in life. Money isn't an issue. They want to work with a plumbing and heating business who is prestigious. Maybe you've got all their engineers at DBS checked, high insurance, literally high end. But the main thing is that they're not money shy. Then in the middle, you've got a hybrid of someone in between the two. So the run of the middle, standard shopper, we call them. So my book sort of introduces these three types of people, which are in society, and I then go on to say when you produce a boiler quote, a lot of people just get their day rate, get the materials, add a markup, present one price to the customer. The problem with that one price is that price is your price. It's the plumbing and heating business's price. It's not the customer's price. So that customer has always got a maximum willingness to pay. And what that means in layman terms is there will be a level of which they're willing to pay for a boiler installation. They won't go over it because that's above their budget, but obviously they will go under it because they'll be saving on their budget. So when you present to your customer one price, you are in effect hoping that your price is underneath the customer's maximum willingness to pay.
Yeah.
So what I present in the book is that you should be always presenting your customers with 3 different prices, which is like a cheap boiler installation, a high-end boiler installation, and then a hybrid, then something in the middle. And what in effect that does is you're hedging your bets. You're making sure that if a customer wants a cheap boiler, they can have a cheap boiler because you've offered that. But then likewise, if they have a high-end luxury shopper or have got money to spend and they literally, like money isn't an issue, you've also presented them with a high-end boiler replacement.
Yeah.
I ease people into this concept by saying, think of it as offering a customer a Worcester, which might be the high end, a Valen, which might be the standard, and an Alpha, which may be the value. So that sort of eases people into it. But within the book, I'll go into a lot more detail as to what these 3 different types of people want, need, and also how to present your offerings to the customer so that you as a business can maximize profits.
Yeah. And I would, just as a personal recommendation, I definitely recommend it. Anyone that is, to be honest, I think the principle can be applied across the board in all trades businesses. And to be honest, even product businesses should be presented in this same sort of way. But definitely all tradespeople should be reading this book. I know the wording is obviously towards plumbing and heating, but the principle and the ideology that it encompasses is for everybody, isn't it? Because the same person that buys a boiler is the same person that's going to buy a roof next month, or the same person that's going to need their consumer unit changing, or do you know what I mean? So the principles are very, very sound. The book is definitely a wise investment. And like I say, hopefully this episode, the book will have already come out. I know Aaron's doing the last minute run around trying to make that happen. So we're going to, hopefully there'll be a physical product that you can go and order on Amazon and other places. Is that right?
Yeah, completely true. So just going into a bit more about what Wayne's saying is that the different concepts of the book. So within the book, I just sort of, I open people's eyes. I open people's eyes that by offering a customer one price, that's the worst thing you can do in business. You need to give people options. People don't know what they want. People don't know what price they should pay or what's a fair price. So for me, producing this, not produce this book, but for me, writing this book and aiming it at a plumbing and heating business, it gives me like a real life and a real demonstration to apply all the concepts to. But if you are in a different trade, like a plasterer, a carpenter, roofer, like I said, or electrician, like you can literally take the concept of the book and apply it to your trade. I just wanted to give a real life example of how the entire process works, and for you to have something to take away with you there and then.
Yeah, and it's definitely full of takeaways. It's definitely full. There's countless bits in there that I'm now actively implementing into my boiler business. So, do you want to give an example? Do you want to share an example? Yeah. So I won't lie, I've always done 3-tiered pricing. So that wasn't a new concept to me. But one thing that you go into detail about is how you frame them prices. So I used to always just go lower, middle, high. That was just like in the order, in that order. And you go on to discuss about I can't remember your actual terminology, but basically, if they see a big price anchor. That was it. Yeah. See, it has stuck in with my. So a price anchor is something that basically you put this big price somewhere. So then anything else below that looks smaller, so it's more enticing for them to come in. You mentioned about doing it on the sales visit, about mentioning like a big value that it could add to the property. So for example, if you said to them, having a new high efficient combi boiler could add between £8,000 and £10,000 to your property, then you send them a price for £4,000. It eases that sale, doesn't it? Because they're thinking, well, possibly I could be adding £8,000 to £10,000 of value here, and it's only going to cost me £4,000. And then I actually used it in. So now every quote that goes out goes like this. The premium option is the first price they see. So some people, yeah, lovely, they click it and they accept it because they're a premium buyer. For the rest of the population, they see that price and they're like, whoa, squeaky bum time. But then as they scroll, they see a medium option that's a bit lower, and then a value option. So their brain has seen the, say, £5,000 figure and thought, holy shit, that's not what I was hoping. But then the premium, the middle option might be 3.5, and then the value option might be 3. So then they're now thinking, well, actually, I'm making a bit of a saving now. So that was just one of the things that I've implemented. An appendix. So I don't want to ruin the book, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but you explain about that different people want different amounts of information. So if you bombard your quote with paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, a lot of people will be turned off and not really engage in it. But then on the other hand, if you're to bear with the quote and you just have like a 1-line item quote and it just says boiler installation and a price, that's also going to turn people off. So you mentioned about creating an appendix, which is, again, jump in if I'm doing anything, if I'm spoiling your work here, but in essence, it's a document that goes into a bit more detail. So Magna Flush, you might have a little section on the appendix for a Magna Flush where you then write a paragraph to explain it. Then you might have something about the Bosch Easy Control with a statement that explains what it is. So although it will be detailed in the quote, but it will only be referenced by name, they can go to the appendix to see more information about whatever it is that you've mentioned. And for me, that was eye-opening, because I've always tried to balance between information overload and scarcity of information. And the way I have been doing it is I always get a lot of questions about, is this included? Is the Bosch, is this flush? Is this constantly, and it's been a bugbear for me. And I'm pretty confident, as you all know, my philosophy is I don't want to be busy. If I'm busy, I'm not doing things right. And when we're going backwards and forwards on emails, answering questions, I never really thought about presenting it in the quote as a separate page that could maybe explain that. So that was a huge takeaway for me. I haven't yet implemented that. That's in progress. It's on a Google document at the moment that I'm every time I get a bit of spare time, I'm working on it. So there's just a couple of things that I've taken away, and I thought I knew quite a fair bit, so I've taken a fair bit of value out of it also. And I'm very, very jealous. I've been trying to write a book for 2 years, and I haven't. I've got about 6,000 words written so far, and I just haven't done it. So fair play for dedicating the time and effort to do it, because it's proving hard for me. So I'm guessing it was quite a challenge for you as well.
Yeah. I sort of started the book February time. Yeah. But then COVID hit, and me being an accountant meant that I didn't furlough myself. I didn't furlough any of my staff. We've worked right through it to make sure that all of our clients are looked after. So for me, as a case of it was an evenings and weekends affair to work on the book. And it's not been easy. It's not been easy. But going into a few more things which Wayne said about the book and what he's implemented, what I wanted to get across is that see your quote see your quotes as a system, as a business system, which constantly needs to be tweaked and improved and adapted. So, for example, Wayne said that he's adding, I've suggested in the book that we have an appendix. Now, that appendix also has a frequently asked questions. So if your customers are constantly asking you questions, what time are you going to turn up? How many sugars do you have in your tea? Whatever, any questions, put them in a frequently asked questions section of the quote and attach it as an appendix. People can then choose to read it or not. And if they do ask you loads of questions, refer them to the appendix. So what we're sort of doing is giving you time. I want to give you your evenings back and your weekends back, because I find that a lot of plumbing and heating businesses working all day on the tools, coming home, doing their invoicing, doing their paperwork, or doing quotes in the evening. So the whole premise of the book is that I want you to have a template, which is a master template, which includes absolutely everything which could go on in a boiler installation. And then when you go to quote for a boiler replacement, just delete the lines, just delete the sections which aren't applicable to that quote. And what you've got is a quick system, tried and tested over time, that you can just keep on using, keep on regurgitating. If a customer asks you a question and you think, I don't have that in my frequently asked questions, put it in so that you anticipate it for next time. So I'm a big advocate of the Chinese concept called Kaizen, which is constant improvements, like constant slow improvements, the 1% improvements. Now, if you make a 1% improvement every month over a year, that's it's not a 12% improvement, it's a compound improvement, because you've got the 1% on the 1%. Yeah. So see your quoting as a system which you constantly need to tweak and improve and test.
Yeah, I would echo that, and that sort of 1% improvement is something that you can apply on everything, absolutely everything. If you said to yourself that you're going to train 7 days a week for a 3-month period, say you join a 3-month program, but for some reason you think, do you know what, I'm not going to do weekends, I'm just going to do 5 days a week instead. Over a 3-month period, if you add up all them 2 days that you've missed each week, you've missed 1/3 of the course. Do you know? So it doesn't seem a lot, does it? Missing like a small bit, but in the end, it ends up being a big effect, and that works in reverse. If you can improve something a little bit every time, then over time it becomes a huge improvement, and that is, in essence, what the Kaizen principle is. Is it Japanese or is it the German one? I always get confused.
Japanese or Chinese?
It's one of them, isn't it? Yeah. But it's worth doing a bit of research into that, anybody that's listening, because the principles are, when you see it in action, and there's lots of documentaries on it on YouTube and stuff, and it's fascinating to see. Like, I read somewhere that, is it UPS? No, who's the one that has the vans that don't have the doors?
With the doors. Yeah, it's UPS, yeah.
And what they did is they worked out that across the world, their engineers were having to, their drivers were having to take the keys out the engine into their pocket, and then go to deliver, and then do the same. So what they did is they created a keychain that was like a pulley, right? And it saved something like 5 seconds a drop, because they didn't have to fumble about. The keys were just on this flexible pulley. So all they did is unlock the car, turn the engine off, and just drop the keys. They didn't have to pull it in their pocket. They didn't have to hold it and get in the way. And it worked out something like, it saved the organization like hundreds of thousands of pounds by investing in these pulleys, because the small increments meant that over time they could deliver a lot more parcels, because that time became hours, which then become days. It was really was a fascinating story. And it just goes to show, though, that little things, it can just be the little things that you change, and it can make such a difference in everything.
Totally. I think they changed their doors as well. You see on the brown UPS vans that their doors are constantly open, because the amount of time it takes someone to
open the door
and get out, and all these little 5-second gains which you get on each drop, all adds up.
Which to a small business, obviously the compounding isn't as huge, but the principle is still the same, you know. And it's like, it's so important. So anybody that is interested in that side of things, it's is it actually called the Kaizen principle? Is that what it's called, or is it the Kaizen philosophy? Or I don't know.
It's Kaizen.
Yeah. So I'll put it in the comments anyway. I'll put a link to a few YouTube videos and stuff that I've watched that's sort of honed it in for me a little bit. Yeah. Right, we're getting towards the end of the show. We're not quite finished, unless you are. But is there anything that you want to discuss more about the book? Anything else you want to add?
I sort of want to surprise you on the book, but I do want to share a story actually, or a concept which I come across the other day, which is related to business. So I've heard there's 2 types of business in this world. You've got the hunter and you've got the farmer. And if we apply these concepts to plumbing and heating businesses, a plumbing and heating business who's a hunter will probably go out with his spear once a week and try and hunt a deer. And he'll get that deer and he'll feed his family for a week. So that's to apply to a plumbing and heating business. That'll be like someone who goes out hunting for a boiler replacement. And because of that they've earned a good £1,000 for that boiler replacement. Now, on the flip side of that, you've got the farmers. You've got the farmers in business. Now, the farmers are a lot more calculated and logical and think about the future. And what the farmers do is they plant seeds. They then water the seeds. The seeds turn into plants. The plants then flower and then turn into fruit. And the fruit provides nourishment for the business and for their family over the years. So whenever you think about your business, always think about whether you're going out hunting or whether you're going out farming and planting the seeds, which is then going to produce nourishment for your business over the years. So it's to me, I heard it the other day and I thought it was a very powerful concept, just to like realign your thinking and realign how you tackle your business and how you conduct yourself and go about things. So if you can always think about, do you know what, I want to be a farmer. I want to be a farmer that produces fruit trees that every year provide nourishment every year, every season.
Yeah.
And for me, applying that concept to a plumbing and heating business is looking at big business, like always going for something higher. So it might be a case of looking after letting agents, looking after hotels and restaurants. But then once you've tackled that and you've got the systems and the processes in place and your business is geared up to look after these type of businesses, what's the next stage? Now, the next stage might be looking after local councils or looking after housing associations or taking on government contracts or even doing a whole new build estate where you completely do the whole heating and plumbing for like for 100 houses. So in business, always think about, are you going out hunting and just getting that one boiler quote and you'll be happy with that? Or are you thinking about planting the seeds?
Yeah, I would echo that, definitely. I have lads that join my No Excuses transformation program each month. And one of the sessions that I always do with them is lifetime value of a client. And it's similar to the hunter farmer scenario in regards to, you know, you can go out and you can snag the kill, get the sale, right? Yeah, that feeds. You get your money in. But if you truly understand the lifetime value of a client, that's the worst approach. You want to be nurturing it and you want to be growing it. So that one client becomes a money machine in regards to recommendations, reviews, future work, you know, and a lot of people struggle to understand the terminology lifetime value. They just see this short-sightedness of, I fit their boiler, that's me done, you know, whereas I look at it as, I fit their boiler, I want that customer for 10 years plus. Do you know, I want to be servicing that boiler every year. I want to be replacing a few of them leaky radiators, old radiators. I want to be fixing all their taps when they break in 5 years. Do you know what I mean? And that's all calculated into when I get a client to what that's worth to me. And it means they have such a higher value that it warrants my attention. So every single one warrants a big effort from me because I look at the bigger picture. And I would strongly advise, like I say, the people that go through my program, we do sessions on this where we try to break down what the physical lifetime value is. It is forecasting, effectively what we jumped back to right at the beginning of the conversation. It is a forecast. It's not a guaranteed, you know, because people move, people die, people sell houses, you know, you can't guarantee the lifetime value, but you can use your experience and knowledge to make an educated decision on it, can't you?
Yeah. It's I teach what's called the know, like, and trust factor. So often someone has to know you, like you, and trust you before they buy from you.
Yeah.
But when they do buy from you, you've gained that rapport, you've gained that relationship. So therefore, keep hold of it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Keep hold of it. Like, nurture that relationship. Have a good database where you've like, it could be on Xero, it could be on Simpro, where you record your customer's name, email address, and postal address. Whenever a new product comes out, hi Mrs. Smith, are you aware that this new Honeywell's out or this new TRV's out? Like, I think it'll complement your system. See your clients as constant repeat recurring business, which you can sort of tap into during your quiet times of business. You can send out a mail shot, you can send out a special offer or a campaign, or inform them of new products and new ways of doing stuff. And they'll be grateful, they'll be thankful, especially if your business is geared towards looking after, they'll call it the high end, the premium clients, the people that want all the gadgets, they want all the gizmos, they want the finer things in life, they want the house to be the bee's knees. If you just tell them, look, this product's out, you can generate work from your database. People
seem to be scared to sell in this industry. It seems to be like they will only do what they're asked. But if the customer doesn't know about something, they can't ask for it, can they? It really is as simple as that. You're the expert. You're the person in the knowledge, up to date. So it's your job. Part of your job is to inform people what's out there. And a lot of people just seem to get scared from I call it upselling, upselling other things around what the main purpose of that job was. And it's definitely something that people need to overcome. I think from my experience of speaking to so many people, it seems to be like a mental sort of barrier that they don't want to be seen to be sort of like a sleazy salesman. I embrace the badge of a salesman now. I'm proud that I deliver, I sell what the customer needs to provide them with comfort and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So I wear it with a badge of honor now. Years ago, I used to like, yeah, we could sell this to you, but I was all like nervous about it, which I'm obviously not now. So definitely worth considering that.
Well, here's another concept. Instead of you selling to the customers, let your customers buy. See it as your customers buying. And the only way you can actually let your customers buy is if you tell them about something. Yeah. So it's just a little flip of thinking, if you like. And believe me, if you don't do it, your competitors will. And as soon as your competitors have got a foot in the door and they then continue to nurture that relationship, you're soon forgotten about. Yeah. Like I find that a lot of plumbing and heating businesses have got a lot of customer churn, like in the sense of like they'll advertise, they'll get a customer happy. Advertise, get a customer happy. It's so much cheaper to look after your current clientele, your current database, and nurture that database as opposed to going out hunting. Yeah. So going back to the hunting farming concept. Plant the seeds, look after your customers, educate them of what's coming up. Don't sell to them, let them buy.
I love that. I love that terminology. Yeah, let them buy. Give them the option to buy from you, and then you're not. Yeah, then you're not using. Yeah, if you change that simple word, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. Well done. Yeah. I like that.
You can have that for free, Wayne.
Nice one. I'm going to be doing a video on that very soon. Right. Cool. I think we're pretty much. I've got all the questions that I wanted to answer. We spoke about the book that's going to be coming out. We spoke about what you actually do. Oh, can you not hear me? Have you lost me, Aaron? Aaron, can you hear me? Hello? Right, we seem to have a technical problem. I'm going to say goodbye. Aaron's computer seems to have frozen, so I'm pretty sure he would have liked to say goodbye himself, but check out all the links in the description. You should be a link to his book, link to Aaron's website about the accountancy.
Lead Hero is the UK's #1 marketing automation platform for ambitious trades businesses looking to save time, make more money, and level up. Because just getting leads is not enough anymore. Lead Hero will help you triple your sales and maximize profits with our job flow acceleration system. Visit leadhero.ai to learn more.
I really hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to put it out there for anyone listening that I offer business coaching, but also life coaching. My life is centered around something called the 3 Bs, which stands for body, business, and balance. When you work with me as a coach, we tackle all 3 aspects of life. So you as an individual, body, mindset, health, fitness, knowledge, education. Business B obviously stands for your business, improving, maximizing opportunities, elevating, making more money. And balance stands for for friends, family, loved ones, making time for everything in your life. And the 3 Bs is the core element to that. If you'd like to learn more, I would ask you to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might be consuming my information. Or you can email me directly at wayne@offthetools.co.uk. I'm here waiting to assist you to elevate across all aspects of life. Have a good one. No excuses. Let's go.